Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the long-awaited Season 3, Episode 6 of Salt, Ships, and Scuttlebutt, a World of Warships podcast, hosted by yours truly, Captain Greene 123, and...
I'm going to open up the Strait of Hormuz, Sea Lord Mountbatten. That's a great way to start the podcast.
That's a great way. That's the first bit of news that we've discussed, or the first. I think that's the quickest we've ever gone from intro to boats. I have to say,
boats are involved. Boats are involved.
Boats are involved. It's not one of us like, meh. My car exploded this week, but my car did explode this week.
Right.
Or
Neither
you know,
mine did. So far.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or Sea Lord being like, meh. We had to dig a channel in my house. I'm living in the room that the channel's in.
Oh my god. I'm so glad I don't have to deal with any of that for the time. What has happened over here? I locked myself out of my house. I had to break into my own backyard yesterday. That's why there wasn't a live stream. I locked myself out of my house and I had to call my parents to come let me in. Because they have a key.
Mommy!
Yeah. Because, we gave my parents a key, my wife's parents a key, my sister has a key, and unfortunately my wife's sister, who lives way closer, we forgot to give her one, so, yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah. So that happened. I'm an adult. Good. I can vote.
Yeah. You shouldn't, by the sound of it. Neither of us should.
Oh, man.
Yeah, my coolant system blew up. So $2,700 later, I now have a new coolant system.
Well, like I was telling you before the show, the other guy that I know that owns a BMW, his engine actually exploded.
Yeah, I don't do that. My engine hit a rebuild, and I redlined it like a dickhead. I drive to and from work. I don't think I've ever pushed the RPMs past 5. So,
yeah, no, I had my Camaro, and it was a 2SS with the LS3, and I too was like, 4 is good. 5, 6, 7 scary.
Yeah.
Oil pressure high. Engine expensive.
That's the terrifying part of driving my BMW. I think I've told you this before, but I'm gonna bring it up again. I don't have an oil pressure light or gauge.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that.
I don't have a coolant level gauge. I have a tachometer and a speedo. That's it.
What, really?
And yes, everything else is run through the multifunction display console in the center of my dash. So I don't, and as somebody who's coming from sacked out F-250s and a fucking Pontiac Aztec, it's terrifying because, at least with the Aztec, I can be like, engine's getting a little hot. Time to do the shitbag special of turning the heat all the way up and then opening the windows. Dude, I had to tell my brother about that again because he was like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, you told me that it's overheating. Do this, you'll be fine. And he's like, that does not make any sense. I'm like, listen, have I ever lied to you? And he's like, yes, you were a pathological liar when we were growing up. I'm like, okay, have I lied to you recently, dickhead? No. Okay. And then, he called me and he's like, yeah, it was almost to the red. And I'm like, yep, she'll do that. And then I put the heat on and I pointed it out the window and it's down to 1/4. And I'm like, yep. Have fun.
Ancient knowledge.
Yeah, ancient shitbag car knowledge. But, yeah, it's all ran through the center console and it all gets the same ding. So you could randomly lose tire pressure, or it could be like, ding, you have no oil. Or it could be like, ding, it hit 37 degrees. Watch out, there might be ice. So, and it's loud. Like if you're playing music, it will pause the music
Yeah.
So it's terrifying.
Yeah, see, like, I don't think I'm buying a car newer than like 2025 because now they're doing the things where like Chryslers will just they'll have pop up ads in Chrysler products now, like when you start your
That
car.
sounds very Chrysler.
Yeah, and then like I think it's either Porsche or BMW. They're like actually making you pay for like massaging seats or something, even though your seat has the massager in it. Like you have to get a monthly subscription to get your massaging seats. And
That
I'm just
sounds
like,
very BMW.
well, no,
As
they
a
were trying it with
BMW
the
driver.
do what? As a
As a
BMW.
BMW driver, that sounds very
Yeah,
BMW.
and then like GM's getting rid of Apple CarPlay now. You have to get their and like you have to use their own thing. And I'm like, look, I'm a Chevy fanboy, but like, y'all can't do electric. Like, none of your electrical systems work. Like,
Do you want to know a fun fact about the Chevrolet Motor Company?
sure.
They're the only U.S. domestic car manufacturer to accept food stamps as a form of payment on loans.
What? Do that?
Yes, they did for a very short time. And then the government is like, we never said you explicitly couldn't do this. But now we're saying explicitly, don't do this. So there was like I think there was like an 18-month period. And it was the funniest thing in the world because the second people found out about that, there was a spike in the sale of Chevy Cobalts. So like trailer
Uh,
parks were buying Chevy Cobalts and then paying for them with
that
food
would
stamps.
explain why there's so many cobalts, just clapped out cobalts around here.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all just clapped out.
Like, I've seen so many cobalts that are just run ragged. I'm like, have you like even washed this car, let alone
No,
changed the oil or I don't know,
no.
cleaned it
It gets
out?
nothing. It gets nothing. If the
Yeah.
car doesn't turn over when I turn the key, I kill it. That's the TLC this thing gets.
Dude, there's this. I don't want to say his name, but there's this guy I went to college with, and he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, my car is making a squeaking noise when I hit the brake." I'm like, "Oh yeah, your brake pads probably need to be changed." He's like, "Oh, dang, I think I'm gonna go trade it in." And I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, it's like $200 if that to change your brake pads?" He's like, "Well, yeah." I'm like,
There's a chick that I went to high school with. The amount of wealth that some of these families have is insane.
"Oh, this guy's not
She would
wealthy. There's a
just
reason he's not wealthy."
no, but I'm just saying this chick would trade in her car after about 7,000 miles back to the dealership.
What?
Or this family would trade their car back in. Like it was, you know how rich people have like some insane bullshit where they're like, hey, if I, do A, B, and C followed by 1, 2, and 3, I actually save 13 cents per month if I
Yeah.
just, made payments on the car or something. It was that. But I remember just sitting there, like she was explaining it to me one day, and I'm like, being the teenage guy that I was at high school, I was like, that's very interesting. You're very cute, by the way. And I didn't really care. But it just amazes me that people will do that.
Dude, there's a video.
Speaking
Oh,
speaking of amazing, my heart melted this week. All right. I am normally a cold, disassociative bastard. I do care, but like I don't know why. Because like looking back on it, what's up?
I was getting my camera to focus.
I thought you were hitting me. I was like, what?
No, I'm getting my camera to
Uh,
focus.
um, I don't know why, but like I've built walls psychologically. Kind of like Dexter. I think I'm Dexter from the TV show, except I don't kill people. Um, but like I don't know why. So like it's really difficult for me to like actually perceive people caring about me. And I have a good friend who I'm going to call by his gamer tag, because I don't want to put anybody's information out there without their consent. But I have a friend named Catbat, who used to work third shift when I first started working third shift. So he was very interested in the podcast, and it was a way for him to support me because he's a fantastic fella, and it was just something to put in his ears. I didn't know this, but we escaped Tarkov this week, and I was just kind of sitting like Thanos at the end of Infinity War or whatever, like the GIF I just posted where he just like sits on the front porch and he's just like looking out and he's like, I did good by committing murder and killing half the universe. But he told me that his mother actually listens to the podcast as well, specifically and solely to support me, and that melted my heart immediately. So yeah, that was awesome. That was immediately it kind of was like, you're stepping in the right direction, you're doing the right things. People are noticing. It's good to be loved. It's good to be loved.
When he told me this, I was like, does his mom play World of Warships or something? Because
no. And I was like, no. and that was the thing where I was like, my heart grew 7 sizes that day, and then I died of an inflamed heart. But yeah, the boat game. We have the boat game.
Game of boats.
The game of boats. On that positive bombshell, do you want to start with the Dockyard? I think we can start with the Dockyard.
Yeah, we're gonna start with the Dockyard. Was it ZH-1? Correcto?
It is, yeah, the ZH-1. I really wish there was a way for me to inspect this and pull it up.
I have and ZH-1, but unfortunately I'm the one recording, so it would screw everything up.
We can't. Yeah. Because I like being able to look at ships and kind of break them down and get each of our different perspectives. But if it's not,
you may pull up like the article about it.
That is exactly where I'm headed.
Yeah. It's a neat little boat. I have it. I've played it.
Yeah, of course you do. You get all your stuff from wargaming immediately. I gotta grind it out.
It was so funny. It's like one video this past week was me being very disappointed with the price of the Turgut Reese, the Italian Graf Schild, and the Japanese destroyer, because they want $150 for these tier 8 ships, and then next video is literally me going, oh look, they're adding heals to all the mid tier cruisers, which I think we're talking about later. And there's comments in both of them like, oh, you're a wargaming shill, you're blah, blah, blah. And the other one's like, you were always so negative on wargaming. You were just a hater. And I'm like, this is
I love the duality of man. Specifically with your content. Because again, I think that you fulfill a very important niche in World of Warships. Because there's a lot of people that gas up a lot of the old, like the Flamu and the Flambos and all of the like Maltese Knights, where it's a very high skill player playing and catering to a high skill set of plays. And I think that you and I want you to know I'm saying this with love in my heart, the player base has shifted away from a lot of very high skill, high engagement
definitely.
types of people. And I feel that every day in Bongzi, because I'll have people who apply and it's like, and again, I've been around for a very long time. I know it certainly skews my perspective, but it's really weird to kind of sit there and be like, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have even looked at this.
Yeah.
Like in terms of performance, in terms of recents, in terms of numbers, it's insane the amount of the high end player drop off in this game. But I think that you specifically have come out as a very preeminent, and then Paint You Fast that we had on.
He's doing pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's doing very, very good. But I think that you two fill very succinct niches where it's not like me when I was like, holy shit, how do I get that extra 10% out of this ship? How do I get that extra 5% out of this ship? You know, with you, I think that you blend skill and the relaxation, a little bit of it, the lax nature very well in your content. And the thing that really made me very excited to work with you specifically on this podcast is the fact that this is a repertoire that you have built up consistently throughout your content. And that's something that I've always noted when it came to your content. And I think that now, you have people who are like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and then this guy's a wargaming. Like it just, I think that it just shows, well, two things. One, I don't think this player base is satiated.
No, absolutely not.
Flat out. And B, I think that it shows that you are now. I would argue that you are the vanguard of what now, because yeah, people still flock out to watch like the 07 players, and they'll look for like Bonk Z or a lot of those high level clans, like for COTS. But for day-to-day content put out in a digestible manner, I honestly think in the World of Warships community, it's you and Paint.
Now my heart is melting. But
do you want me to like insult you?
Please don't.
Would that make it feel better?
I get enough of that with the high school kids.
Okay, well that's true, but I didn't want your heart to expand 7 sizes.
So, yeah, no, my health insurance sucks. I can't afford that.
Exactly. I'm trying to. If anything, I'm helping you by insulting you. I'm keeping your heart small.
But that was the idea of the channel, because like when I was getting into it, it's like you had Jingles, who was like super casual, doesn't really do that many like gameplay tips and tricks. Like even when I started, he was mostly just replays and stuff. And then you had.
Which is fine, by the way.
Jingles is great, but I'm saying like for like gameplay tips and tricks, you had like iChase, who then I don't know whatever happened to him. Like I don't think he's posted.
I know what happened to iChase. He bless his heart, as our Southern friends would say. He just got disenfranchised with the game, and he started picking fights with almost everybody. The whole reason I am in Bonks and before that was because iChase had like a quantum level breakdown. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry about that. I was trying to hold that in for like 2 minutes. Trying to be professional here, Joe Rogan experience type beat. He like crashed out at Wargaming one day, and it was really funny because it was such it really highlighted a very important lesson to me, and it's the old adage that, gods wear no clothes. Where, you have these people put up on pedestals. You have these people that you think are like the arbiters, and then you get to meet them, and it's like, fuck. And that's kind of what happened with iChase, because the whole time I was there, I mean, and I saw it right away, and I'm not afraid to call people out on their bullshit. But he was very like argumentative. He was very combative, and he was very totalitarian in how he ran his community. And one day he just lashed out at Wargaming, and then he started lashing out at individual users, mainly around like politics and stuff, which again, I understand having political discussions. I think that they're like important to have, but when it's a politically motivated lash out, I think it's a lot less like beneficial to the overall conversation.
Yeah.
But then iChase just kind of Icarus himself. And then he lost everything, and to this day, he just sits on his server and he screams into the void.
See, the last
which is really sad.
I heard about him, I mean, this is a while ago, was the whole, I don't know if you're aware of like the whole no Zoop thing on Twitter.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
That he would come out of retirement like specifically to just pick fights with people, and I don't understand it. I legitimately don't understand it. Like it's like you having a WoW's platform and you don't post any more WoW's content anymore. You expect all the platitudes from your WoW's content, like you're sitting on your laurels, but you'll come out of retirement just to try. And I'm not defending Zoop in any way, shape, or form. I never really enjoyed his content particularly. But it was just so destructive, and I think that it was really it was very much a telltale incident into how a lot of the World of Warships fan base and player base interacts accordingly, because it specifically in WoWs, and this is something that I think used to be an issue in World of Tanks and is less of an issue now, but the vocal minority of just caustic people, acidic people rose to the top. And I think that that's exactly what you got in a lot of that first and second wave of mainstay quote unquote content creators. You just had people who it was very knifey, steely. And granted, it was funny to be treated so poorly by people like iChase, and then to watch his shit come crumbling down. That was very much a beer on the back porch, as you a beer on the front porch when there's a car accident in front of your house kind of type moment. It's like,
yeah. See, like
yay.
when that happened, I was like, "Oh, iChase is still around." I went to his channel. Like last time it uploaded was like a few years ago or something.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
actually insane.
"What?" Like you just came up to Dogpile. Well, I think it was like him and Flamu. I think somebody else were like stirring up the crap on Twitter or whatever, which eventually got him kicked out of the CC program. And it's like iChase and like Flamu like have like, I mean, Zoop had like 50,000 subs, something like that, 40,000, and these guys have like several 100,000. It's like, that's I don't like that dynamic. Picking on a smaller creator. Well, I don't want to get too political because again,
I don't have a problem with people picking on smaller creators. I think that the caveat has to be
they got him, boys and girls. Wargaming got him. This is perfect timing. Or is it my internet? Did my internet die? Surely not. I pay AT&T far too much for this to happen, boys and girls. Let me see. No, it's not my internet. They got Greene. Well, let's see. Let's give him a few minutes, or maybe not. We'll see if he comes back. I'm sure he's about to make a very good, very interesting point. What if he realizes that his internet's frozen? Let me message him and see. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the call, and I'll recall him, see if this works. Or maybe if I rejoin the call, it'll work.
hello.
Oh, there we go.
Well, that's good.
I didn't know iChase, controls Discord.
No, that's great. See, that's where we would put the HelloFresh promo if we were like those other guys. But
it's wild that this happened. This could be avoided if we were using NordVPN, today's video sponsor. Although I don't think a VPN has anything to do with internet connectivity.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going on a limb here and crash out for no season.
Yeah, is it?
But yeah, I really
Go ahead. I think we're okay ish.
oh, are we good? Are we good? Are we back?
Yeah, yeah, I can still hear you. Your
Okay.
video and audio is a little bit delayed, but I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, I think that punching down in terms of content creation is acceptable, but it has to be for like a larger, like a good overarching reason. Like I don't think running down and like rolling in the muck in what is essentially petty drama is beneficial. So I don't think that stuff like that should be done. But I think that I think that there are instances where punching down is okay, but it wasn't there wasn't punching down in the World of Warships player base, especially in the content creation sphere. It seems like it was a hobo knife fight in front of like 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
Like it was actually just four crackheads stabbing each other in the kidney in a circle, all just screaming. And the player base, like I said, and I pray to God it's a vocal minority, but a lot of the player base seems to be the exact same way. And like I said, this is another thing. Like your content is good. I think that your content is exactly appropriate for like it's a good mix of hey, you can get a little bit of extra yardage out of this, but as long as you meet your entry requirements to the ship, like you're doing good, but you can always do better. You can improve, you could do better. You know, I really like that. And I think that it's good because the player base has gotten stupider. and I think that there's a lot less overall of people that are trying to do the eye chase or the Kellorn. Do you remember Kellorn and Kami Samurai?
yes,
I can
yes,
fucking
yes.
throw. Yeah, none of them are around anymore.
Yeah, like
Kraken just finally died and rebranded. By the way, I don't know if you heard that.
no, I heard
Kraken,
ruminations.
yeah, Kraken. For those of you who don't know, Kraken was if you were an OG WoW's player, they were like who you wanted to. They were the Lamborghini Aventador poster in your room. Kraken was. You had Killorn, you had Kami Samurai, you had Vermicelli, you had all of these people that Griefer. Um you had all of these people who were fantastically good at the game. And then they got absorbed by Yolo K and they still took the Kraken name. And that's when Kraken died in my mind because again, it's kind of like it's like when Fiat bought
Chrysler.
buys yeah, it's just you're not the same company. You're not
You just
you have
make
the same
minivans
name.
now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like when Fiat bought Lancia, it's like you're not really Lancia anymore. Um and now they've just officially died. And me being the wonderful uh tactful person that I am, they were posting. They were like, "Yeah, it's the end of an era. It's the end of Kraken." And I was like, "No, Kraken died when you guys merged with them." And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, no. The second like Kami Samurai and Killorn and again like all those old names I listed, I was like, the second they were gone, it's not Kraken anymore. Sorry, they didn't like that. I got asked to leave."
But yeah,
So
there's been like a huge shift from the competitive side to the more casual side because like most of my
yeah,
best videos now they're just like general how-to tips and tricks, nothing really in
yeah.
depth because like you said, there's no one really making that too much anymore. Um,
There's not a market for it, which I think is a problem. There's not enough people in the player base that are like I said earlier, I need to get that extra 10% out of the ship. I need to get the extra 5% out of the ship. You have a lot of people who again, and I've become this person. So I don't want to sound like I'm ragging down or I'm being like You're poor. I hate you. You're bad at the game. Get out of my game. I don't give a fuck anymore. All right. Because I have now become, I used to have this analogy that I would have, like this anagram where it was like, this guy is either like the most try-hard college student in existence, or this is like George O'Toole who just got off of a 19-hour shift as a plumber, and he has time for one game in between bedtime for his 900 Irish kids and him walking in the front door. He has time for one game. I've become that person because it's like I work so much now and so consistently. It's like all of my gaming skills have atrophied. And I kind of realized that I'm like, and I realized it before because, I was like, hey, not everybody can be like me, where I'm living in a dorm room and I get all my classes done and then I play video games for 8 hours, not everybody can do that. So it's like, it's a healthy shift, but.
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing with a lot of like the events and stuff now. Because most of the events now aren't like, get like Tool Krakens or 3. It's like, could you log in a day and play like 2 games?
5 battles. Yeah. Which again, they're catering towards the large demographic.
Yeah.
I don't mainly deal with that part of the game, so it kind of frustrates me to see the comp scene get a little atrophied. But I also completely understand why wargaming is doing that. Because if I'm wargaming, am I going to cater to the 20 clans we constantly see playing clan battles? And in North America, especially at like hurricane level, it's 20 clans. We see the same 20 people, and then we see the same 950 trillion Asians who come over and then disconnect after one of their guys dies or something. And that's great. I love that. That's my favorite thing in the world. But it doesn't compare to the amount of people who are like playing randoms or like grinding the Dockyard and stuff.
Speaking of the Dockyard,
I was just we're in sync, kid. So here we go. ZH-1 was originally laid down as Dutch cruiser Jonathan in 1938. She was captured by the Germans and completed 1940, completed in 1942 with some alterations to the original armament. During the Second World War, this destroyer served mainly off the coast of France. It was sunk during the Normandy landings at the Battle of Ushant in 1944. She's armed with 120 millimeter guns ranged in an uncommon configuration, a twin gun mount and a single gun mount sits at the stern. The twin gun turret is positioned forward like other German destroyers. Her HE benefits from improved penetration, though the max damage is slightly lower. AP shells hit hard, but the combination of turret layout and long reload makes trading fire with enemy destroyers challenging. So it gets an airstrike because Dutch. Short burst smoke, pretty cool. Enhanced hydro, which all three of these go perfectly together, like oil, water, and vinegar. Small HP pool, that sounds on brand, and low battery damage per minute. Block me. Yeah, so there's the double. Yeah, so do you get, is it really 4 guns? That's all you get?
You get
at tier 9?
Yeah, is it 4 or is that a twin in the back? Or is it a single in the back?
No, I think it's a single because it says that it's single. Although it does look like a twin.
Go back to that, because that looks like a twin barrel. I should know. I've played this ship. Yeah.
I was going to say, you fucking have it. Why are we playing 50 questions?
Oh my god. No, because I'm getting it confused with the Ulsh. The Ulsh is the other French-German destroyer. This is a German Dutch destroyer. Yeah, so the guns, who cares? You don't use the guns on this thing. Use the torps and use the airstrikes. The airstrikes are Uh,
Are you able to stream your port, or will that mess up your
it'll
recording?
mess up the recording, unfortunately.
Okay. No,
You
that's fine. I just that's why I'm always streaming and doing all
Yeah,
that by the way. But I don't have
one
this
of us
because I'm not
have
buying the
7
Dockyard.
terabytes of hard drives for recording. The other doesn't.
I only have 3 terabytes,
You
and
got
it's filled
seven's
up
pretty.
with.
Seven's pretty cool until you record in 4K and realize an hour in 4K is like 500 gigs. uh,
I do have. I recently like last year, I got a 50 series card, and
oh,
now
look at
I
you.
feel.
Yeah, I keep going. I need to update my 30 series card. Then I look at the prices and go, no, don't.
Yeah, I had worked 40 days in a row of 12-hour days because it was a month, it was a quarter end. So it's 3 weeks straight. And I went to the why am I forgetting the name of
Micro
I
Center,
keep wanting to call it Rena Center. It's not Rena Center.
Micro Center.
Micro Center. Thank you. Not getting a couch. I keep going up to Rena Center and I just kind of put my wallet down on the counter. I was like, 50 series. And they're like, do you want to look at? I'm like, 50 series. And he's like, are you sure you want it? 50 series. I'm not going to ask you again. I'll go give somebody else the commission. 50 series, please. And then he was like, I really would be amiss. And then I just walked over to the other guys sitting next to him because they were like all in a group. And I was like, 50 series, please. And he turned around. He's like, here you go. And I'm like, thank you. And then I walked out and I bought it because I had like, I had an insane paycheck and I was just like, I don't care. So, but yeah, it's really good. That's my flex. You're gonna flex your storage. I'm gonna flex my
Your buying
GPU.
power.
Yeah, my wallet.
Mine's over there
So
crying in the corner because we just ordered our wedding pictures today. And
no crying on mine. I got a. Oh, I have a 50. I didn't know I had a 50 in here. Oh, to be single again. That's probably what's going through your mind right now?
well, mortgage, car insurance, IRS holding my taxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the guns aren't really that big of a deal in this thing. Mainly what you're doing is you're trying to what?
So like that was that was I know you didn't mean it that way because you very much love your wife, all right?
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
the way that it came off, it was like you look like you look like you were like a balding dad trapped in a marriage with no, you don't have to do that. You don't no, buddy, you didn't have to do that. I was painting a picture. You didn't
Okay, students
but yeah.
remind me every day.
No, but it's yeah, this is why I couldn't be a teacher. I would clap back.
Oh no, I do.
Oh, you're old. Oh. Yeah, well, my parents love me, and I get a new truck.
Okay, I don't do that, but
I would. I would. Dude, see, again, this is the difference between the South and New England. There's a kid who got thrown into a trash can in middle school by a teacher
but
because he was the wrestling teacher. And this kid, James Sneed, he just kept like squaring up with the teacher. And the teacher's like, this isn't going to go the way you think it's going to go. Because he was the wrestling coach who did all state wrestling. And he was a former linesman. So this guy was just the quintessentially New England blue collar brick shithouse. He was like, this is only going to go one way. So anyway, kid got thrown in a trash can. Yeah, the picture like the guy was just trapped in a horrible.
well,
That's the picture I was trying to paint.
the
But
mortgage
it's
doesn't
life.
hurt.
It's adult.
Yeah, yeah.
It's adulting. That's what it is.
Like the big like comforting fact is like the mortgage is one thing, but it's like you're paying yourself because
Yeah.
you want to pay off the house, and like every time you make a mortgage payment, not in like the first like what year or two because of the interest, but the money's going to your house, and like it is equity you are building up, so
It's
it's
not
not
a
like it's
bad
just
investment.
disappearing. No, no,
It's exactly. It's working for you. It's kind of like when I get money taken out of my paycheck and it goes into my 401k. It's like I can't really be upset,
yeah,
but it's money that I wish I had, you know?
yeah, because we
Uh,
have a our own teacher retirement system here in Louisiana, and that's a couple $100s out of every paycheck, and
what's
I feel sad
teacher
about it.
retirement system in the South? They just like you get to tenure and they're like, congratulations, and then they shoot you in the back of the head. That's
Well, it's the
judging by
one.
teacher's experience, that's about what I think is going to happen.
Well, so it's the one good thing about teaching in Louisiana is that we have a somewhat decent retirement system compared to like the other southern states down here. It's the one good thing. Um, and I go look at what's the money in that account. I get at the money in that account. I'm like, oh, okay, I've got some money in this. And the cool thing is that if you do decide to leave teaching, they will give you the money. Um, like just in a check, because it's not in like a separate 401k account. You can take the money and do what you want with it if you decide to leave. So it's
Yeah.
like you got a nice little cushion if you do decide to leave the profession
Uh,
down here. If once you get a few years into it, so and it won't be well. I don't want to say that. I don't want to jinx myself. But anyway, yeah. What was I saying beforehand?
yeah.
Oh yeah, but speaking about the kid getting shoved in a trash can, there was a kid at my school a few years ago, little scrawny kid. Okay, he's causing a ruckus in the
Yep.
lunchroom. Okay, and
Trash can.
well, no, not trash can. I had lunch duty, and I was going up to be like, hey, chill out. What's going on? But the person that got to him beforehand just like tapped him on the shoulder, and he was about to do his whole spiel, like, "Hey, what's going on? What you got going on today?" This kid gets up and swings at him. Little does this kid know, this is a little freshman, okay, like really scrawny kid. The person just swung at was the lieutenant colonel that runs the ROTC program, who's been to
Back up.
Afghanistan, who's a reserve officer on our city police force, and is also the SWAT instructor too. So he swings at Colonel, and Colonel, like, I don't know what he did, but he picks this kid up, like rotates him, and within like a split second, the kid's on the ground in handcuffs already. So
Yeah.
yeah, they work out well for
So
that
anyway,
kid.
the
Anyways, the
ZH-1.
ZH-1, 30
ZH-1.
minutes later.
See, I think that this is good. I think that if we integrate story time and like showing
Boats.
that we have an actual human connection and this isn't just like a business venture, with the boat talk, I think we'll get less comments of people being
What do you
like,
mean? I'm
I
trying
don't
to sell
care
this
about your
podcast to
life.
Blackstone. What are you talking about?
Black Rock.
BlackRock, yeah.
You don't want to get it. You don't want to get it wrong.
Blackstone's
Their
the
listeners,
grill.
they don't know what's they
I sell a podcast about boats to the grill
my
company.
big fat ass, dude. I'm selling my big fat ass podcast hosted by two big fat asses, two big grill, dude. All this, honey, I do this every week so I can get one of those Blackstone flat tops. That's it. That's the goal.
I need to go like
When
find
I have,
one and like shove it in the background for like the next week and just say nothing about it.
dude, when you're up here, we'll have the yard couch episode if we record one, and it'll just be you and me sitting on a yard couch, and we'll just have like I'll get a Blackstone and we'll just push it out. But I was thinking about that. I have a nice area where we could do podcast recording, and just like drink beer in front of the fire. That seems like it would be really good. Anyways, what's the damage on these bombs and how big are these bombs? What are their pens?
Okay,
I'm
so
not seeing
the
that.
pins, like, this is off the top of my head because I can't pull it up right now. It's less than the normal Dutch bombs, but it gets over 32. It might be
Okay,
32, but
that's all I needed to hear.
yeah, there's more bombs and more alpha though. So it's like less pin,
Okay.
more alpha. Like,
Okay.
it hurts when you get hit by this. It hurts, and it's I think it's in a smaller area too. So it's kind of
That
like
was going to be
the
my
Utrecht bombs.
That was kind of my thinking, because if you have a ship that sacrifices so much for torpedoes
Oh
and
yeah, yeah, no,
bombs, you have to have bombs that
it
are at the
does
very least
numbers
usable.
because the aircraft, or is it the that's the one where the bombs come out backwards? Is it the Do 224 or the HE
Yeah, I think so.
224? One of those. Yeah, so it's like medium bombers. And yeah, like dude, I've friggin' bungo. I hit a bungo with one of these, got like 17k alpha, 3 fires. It was beautiful. Yeah, this thing eats, you know, things with like the 32 millimeter plating and below. It's like battle
Mm.
cruisers, British battleships, French battleships.
Now,
Um,
now, Sea Lord,
yes.
I was born yesterday and I fell off the back of a turnip truck.
Okay.
Why is 32 millimeters of armor penetration important in World of Warships?
Well, you see, turnip truck boy. 32 millimeter is the last major threshold in the game. I'm going into my, this the man. I've said this so many times over the past like 3 weeks.
I
Um,
still get asked this question. That's why I'm teeing it up. I'll have people, because I've had podcast DMs that it's like, so why is 32 millimeters important? And I'm like, in
so
the big 2.6,
yeah. So people don't believe there's
we're
new players
asking
in the
these
game, but
questions.
there's still new players that have no clue. But anyway, so 32 is the last major armor threshold in the game. So it's the last plating you're gonna experience that you need to overmatch for like bows and sterns of the high tier battleships
Dex
and
2
deck
for
armor. Yeah,
cruisers.
bow and stern deck, sometimes mid deck, especially if it's like the French or the British battleships. So if your HE can pin 32 millimeters of armor, you are going to get good, consistent damage by just touching any part of their ships. And if
Whoa! I didn't know that. Thank you. I can feel
welcome,
the head wound from the turnip truck getting better.
and if you can overmatch 32 with AP too, you're gonna have a great time. And there's different thresholds at each tier. I think like tier 8 and above is 32, tier 7 to 6 is 27.
Yeah,
Tier
it's roughly
6 is
27. And then
25.
25, and
And
then
then I
I
think it's
think it's
like,
17.
yeah. It's in the teams from like 5 down.
I mean, let's see here. Let me see what the Texas has for bow and stern plating. I'm 90. Yeah, Peter Velicki is not the fucking gold standard.
No, no.
It's 19. So
Yeah.
it's 19, and then I'll go down to tier 3 and see if there's anything down here. But I that is like 16. 16, yeah, so 16. Um, that is like knowing armor layouts. Another little bit of a teaching moment. Knowing armor layouts, knowing penetration thresholds is something that once you get over that initial hurdle, it's fantastic. It will always serve you well. You will never, ever, ever not benefit from knowing penetration thresholds. And you don't have to know the intricacies of every armor layout. Like, for instance, when we were going through and I was talking about the Putor, the Peter Velicki, I didn't remember that the fore end mid belt and the fore end upper belt are 125 and 75 millimeters respectively. I didn't know the exact numbers. I just know that the front of this boat is made out of pig iron, and don't shoot the front of the boat because it's made out of pig iron. So that's just kind of a really good reason to memorize vague thresholds and vague armor plates. Just to kind of put that in there again, because I want to incorporate some more. I call them constants into the podcast, where it's something that I'm constantly thinking about when I'm in game. So yeah, you don't have to memorize everything perfectly. You just have to memorize that something's there.
Yeah. That's why people like there are some like IFHE loyalists out there that they will take IFHE on everything to get over that 32 millimeter threshold because That's one of the mindsets
Yeah.
where it's like, I can get consistent damage. All I have to do is hit the ship. I'm going to get damage. But then you have some that are like, well, take IFHE. You're going to lose half of your fire chance. And I'm more of like an RNG person. I'm willing to, roll the dice and go for the fire damage, for the damage over time instead of the consistent damage. Yep. But funny enough, you can like pin, like it has one strip of deck plating, the Veliki, that's just
there's a little landing strip up here where it's just 19 millimeters.
Isn't there one like the deck behind the turret's like 19, isn't it?
This upper deck is, but the midsection is 25, and then the main deck is 38.
So above the turret number 3 is not 19. That raised section.
That's 19.
Yeah, I've hit it there. I've citadeled it through there before, and it's like it's so fun. It's such a weird armored ship, but it's got its Achilles heel.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of the really important kind of thing that you need to remember. Like, there's a lot of people that look at this and go, "Wow, this must suck," and they don't realize that.
Yeah, that's behind it, and
so
that does something too, because the pin value of your shell has to get through that 19 millimeter plating, and or is that 25? That 25 millimeter plating, and it removes 25 millimeters of pin from the pin value of the shell. Then it's got to get through the belt armor, and if depending upon the shell, it can detonate inside the torpedo protection and do nothing.
I was going to say it also has to get through the gap in the armor in of itself.
They left one of the gun rooms on the Texas unlocked when I went and visit her. So I got to like go crawl inside the where they load the shells and stuff, whatever you call that.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you into the turrets on the Salem when you're up here.
That'll be interesting. I heard it looks crazy with all the vacuum tubes and stuff.
Oh, it's insane. There's like I said, I would I have keys to the entire ship. But I would email both the Salem and the Massachusetts and be like, hey, here's my YouTube channel. I make naval content. I'm like Drakenfeld, except I'm fatter and I'm from here. Let's work something out. Because again, they will open up everything for you. And
will they let me turn the ship on?
Probably. It's on blocks, unfortunately.
Oh, is? Oh, dang.
The Salem, it's sitting in a sub pen.
Oh, I thought okay.
The Salem is, the Massachusetts is not on blocks.
Oh.
But the Salem is most definitely on blocks in a sub pen.
Like it just got its rims stolen.
Yeah, basically. It's a Chrysler 300. It's just sitting there with no rims. But that's something that I would very much do.
Yeah, no, but I'm probably going to email them here definitely before May.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really integral, especially at low tiers, because a lot of these, it gets easier the higher up you go, because a lot of these low tiers have a lot of these weird fuck ass platings. Like what is this? Why does it go 110, 130, 150? What? So, there's a lot of stuff like that you have to keep in mind. But it gets substantially easier the higher you get, because it goes from... I'm going to flex that I have an Alabama VL. You don't have one of these.
No, I do not.
That's okay. Surely you have an Alabama ST.
Nope. I've been told that they give out like one of these a year or something like that.
Yes. But you'll notice that a lot of there's some different belts here, but the different belt thickness, it starts shifting away from raw penetration and shifting into playing with auto bounce a lot more. So, for instance, a Sovietsky Soyuz is not going to give a fuck if it hits the 310 or if it hits the 274, or if it even manages to get down here and it hits the 168. It's not going to fucking give a single shit about what it hits. but Sovietsky Soyuz is 16-inch.
Can't get through that.
Can't get through that. And if this is angled enough, can't get through this. So, it becomes very much a dance rather than a barroom fight. It's fencing rather than 6-man Russian street fighting. By the way, slight aside, I have a new favorite sport. I think I showed it to you. I did. No, I didn't. It's the Russian container boxing.
Container boxing.
Yeah, here, hold on.
Side quest, boys and girls. Do they just put them in like a shipping container and just...
I'm not going to describe it anymore. I'm going to just show you.
I'm picturing the scene from the Joker when he from Dark Knight Rises when he takes the pool stick, cracks it in half, is like, we have room for one more. That, but Russian in a shipping container.
Yeah. This is actually this is what low tier, like tier 6 and below battleships are like, because you just have this weird fuck ass plating.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so that's
Mannered chimpanzee? What?
I don't know. This is, but it's like this is what it's like. Because it's just, there's some weird 180 millimeter plating here that I forgot about. So you're just like doing whatever works. You're just bashing each other to death.
How has WWE not picked up on this?
My favorite part about this is they're doing this over like a Chernobyl cooling pond. Like it looks like it's the most
disgusting looking water.
Yeah, it looks bad. It looks really bad. Like it's brown. Look at this. There's some monks in the background.
Dude, this is like what the water looks like around here. If you ever come down here, it's that nice brown shade. Like the drone in the background.
This is.
They have like a steady cam for that guy though. Okay.
So this is what it's like. It's just flailing. This is what low tier battleships are like, because it's like, I'll put all of my I'll put all of my Warspite shells exactly where they need to be. However, there's some fuck ass 110 millimeter internal plate that I did not know about, and then that's when you fall off the crate. Like that's what it's like fighting with battleships at low tier, and top tier is basically fencing, because it's like, okay, I know exactly, because there's a lot more uniformed armor plating. There's a lot more uniformed guns.
You'll hear the term.
It's not like lower tiers where it's
battleship
like,
thrown out at high tier. It just means it looks like this, pretty much.
So I mean, you have a lot of battleships like this, but you still have battleships that you have to be like cautious of, where there's some forward plating and stuff, but it's a lot easier to remember that and kind of work it out. Dude, this was 3 years ago. Fuck.
With the Zeton?
Fuck. Yeah, look.
Yeah.
Fuck it. No, this event.
Dang.
Fuck. I'm old. I'm an old head.
Dude, that's like, sometimes I'll be like, I'll be talking about the Vermont. I'm like, oh yeah, it's still like new in my mind. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
You're
like 5 years old now.
That Ohio's still a really big threat. And it's like, it hasn't been for 4 years, Unk. And I'm like, what? What? So, but yeah, I mean, you still have it at tier 10 too, where you were memorizing armor belts and stuff is really important, because I've been, as you can see here, I like to play Schlieffen. Because you can just fent walk at people and they can't really do anything about it, because it's built like it's made out of asbestos and ignorance. Look at all this plating.
Speaking of fent walking, should we talk about the Valparaiso?
Yes, we should. See, this is good.
This is good.
That is a good segue. I think that the topic was important, but the segue is importanter. So let me pull up that article.
Not just the Valkyrie. It's a bunch of ships that are being changed here really soon.
Yeah, I'm looking to see.
Yeah, I think that's
Where
the
that
best way to
is.
describe the Valparaiso gameplay is literally just fent walking.
Yeah, it actually is just fent walking at people. Where's this dev blog? Is it the work in progress? No, it's not the public.
It's not featured on the website, but I think if you go to new, it should pop up. It should be the newest dev blog.
I guess I'm not on the dev, but what the?
But to the audience listening, there's some
Italian submarines, early access, and more.
Yeah, that's the one
That
that's
was
still
April.
tagged. But to those listening, there's a lot of changes coming. Big changes, too. To ships that very much need them.
Change.
Yeah, the new dev
Balance
blocks. Yeah, there you go. The new dev block site, it's a better presentation, but it's also kind of janky at times.
Yeah, it is. I'm again old head. It's like I just can't get around this sometimes. So, what in the finger licking fuck is all this?
Yeah, like I said, lots of changes.
Okay. I think we're gonna get through these relatively quickly here because a lot of these are the Italian battleship changes that we talked
My
about.
wife is also summoning me, so we kind of
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Do you want to? Actually, I'm doing 12s this week, so I'm doing 7 to 7. So we might not be able to. But
yeah,
we'll
we
definitely
can talk
be getting.
about this. It just
Yeah,
to be the
yeah.
last topic.
No, yeah, that's fine. I'm just thinking like because definitively we can get another episode in this week. We can get back to our one episode a week. This is actually kind of good because I can throw together a storyboard and have this be a lot more structured rather than two guys just kind of rambling. So Dante Allegri, Cavour, Andrea Doria, and the fuck Caracuccio. I have never hated a ship more than a Caracuccio, by the way.
Yeah.
I have never, ever.
I'm assuming you grinded through it before they buffed it.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Hashtag
dispersion patterns change. These ships will now have a higher accuracy at closer to medium range, which will grade significantly in longer firing ranges. So, Soviet battleships with higher dispersion. So,
yeah,
worse Soviet battleship curves. Which
I don't know for you. The Soviet
it's not a bad
dispersion.
Curve, Soviet battleships, like this seems like it's a really big buff.
You think it's a buff?
I think it is because especially even in stuff like Kremlin, where it's built like a brick shithouse and has 18-inch guns. In the Sovietsky Soyuz, where it's the same thing with 16-inch guns. Even when I'm engaging at their closer to maximum ranges, it doesn't feel like the guns are horrendously inaccurate.
Yeah.
I definitely feel it, and having only 20 kilometers kind of sucks, but it's usable. You can still land hits. You're not helpless. With the Italian battleships, and again, I ground through these completely before any of their buffs. I felt helpless.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a good change. The fact that it's going to be not quite Soviet dispersion, I think, is a little bullshit because it seems like it's that Russian for me and not for thee type shit.
Well, see, for me, like the Soviet dispersion never seems to work for me until I get to like 8 kilometers. Then it works. And I just have like the same kind of dispersion from 9 kilometers out. But like you said, when playing Kremlin, I still do seem to be able to land shells at range. And with the Soviet, ballistics, it really doesn't matter if it's a couple; it's still going to hurt.
Even with the Zarya S, which is just a Vladivostok, those guns still hit. They still do damage. It's still consistent enough that I don't feel helpless. Do I notice a downgrade? Yes, I do. But I'm not helpless, which I think is what they're trying to push these Italian battleships in the way of. Because Lepanto and Caracuccio, I felt helpless engaging at range.
Even with the Lepanto?
Yes. Even with the added value,
Because you get 12 guns.
Added volume of Lepanto, I felt helpless.
Yeah, I also feel that these changes kind of put them back to where Wargaming had originally intended these battleships to be. Because when they first came out, it was the literature was all like, "Oh, these are like medium to close range battleships," because they have the kind of the same ish armor scheme from like the Veneto up of the Roma, which is great for medium to close range, and you get the exhaust smoke, which is also great for medium to close range.
Yeah.
And then they buff the. I think they buffed the Sigma first, then they buffed the Alpha damage, and they buffed the dispersion. So the midline ships, I went back and played them after all that. They're kind of just like playable now. But like the Veneto, Lepanto, and the Colombo are like really solid, and obviously the Colombo's like busted at this current moment. But that's also about to change too, because it's not just those four getting these changes.
Yeah, we have the Veneto, which is getting the main battery parameter changed. Stock module increased from 16.5 to 17.3. It's 800 meters, but I'm going to tell you right now, holy thank God, praise the Lord. 16.5 at tier 8.
God awful.
Is horrible. And especially when it's not exclusively locked at tier 8. If this was a situation where it's like a tier 6 playing up into tier 8s, it's not as bad as a tier 8 playing up into tier 10s. And having 16.5 range puts cruisers above you in terms of punching power and in terms of range. And that is just horrendous. And then the research goes from 18.1 to 19. I think that's good. I think it's still short range, but it is usable short range rather than fucking 18.1. You know, that's just so bad. And then Soviet battleships, and they're removing the spotting aircraft. So Italian mains, spotting planes now until you lose it forever for all the use that will give you.
One of the funniest comments I saw on this was like, "Oh, this is a huge nerf to Italian battleships because they can't use their secondaries and smoke anymore." And I'm like, buddy.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that anyway. The 16 millimeters of pen you're getting out of your secondaries is truly terrifying, you know. But yeah, no, that was.
Yeah, it's not a dramatic change. I, as a battleship main, as a battleship guy, I don't think I've ever really gotten a tangible use out of a plane in 8 years. Lepanto, once again, is getting a range buff up and the dispersion pattern change. So stock is going from 16.5 to 17.3. Again, fantastic. Lepanto, I don't think needed it as much because you can fit your range and your reload mods. And I think that it was a situation where you had your range, and then when you got your upgraded guns, you swapped to reload because the Lepanto reload, if I remember correctly, is not good.
No.
So, yeah, you have 37 on 15-inch guns, which is kind of rough.
Like 33 with the module.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going from 16.5 to 17.3. It's still a nice buff. You can kind of play mentally in your head. Do I need the module? Do I not need the module? And then researchable max range goes up to 19, which I think is good. Again, it's only 900 meters, but putting it on par with 8s and some of the stock 9s, I think is a really good kind of place to put these Italian battleships in, because that you want to maintain and incentivize close quarter engagements when possible with these ships. You don't want to sit have a Lepanto in the back of the map because he's running range. It's just not going to be good.
Definitely forcing to that mid to close range playstyle now.
Yeah, but it's allowing you to still start that fight, put rounds on target, apply pressure earlier.
It's
I think is
removing the
good.
spotter so you can't get the range, and now you can't stack the range with the module. So
Yeah. The Colombo max battery firing range is going up from 18.9 to 19.9. I thought 18.9 was okay. I thought that, having that trade-off is, yes, it sucks. But again, these are ships that you're incentivized to play closer in. I'm not going to rehash that. It's going up to 20. That's good. Giving a little bit more range. Once again, also all of these Italian ships are getting the Soviet-esque dispersion curve, which I think is a good change of pace. And once again, you are losing your
if you
spotting
listen
aircraft.
closely, you can hear the Colombo UU Sansonetti captains crying in the background. They can't sit at
Yes.
25 kilometers and remove 30K from your ship anymore.
Yes. Once a game. They only land one hit a game. But yes. The Affronte, which is the maximum battleship. When did Italy get a tier 10?
Your super ship?
Or is that testing?
Dude, this thing has been it's in testing.
Yeah. Okay, so
this thing has gone through
okay, so never mind. So this is just the Italian. Okay, so
it's
it
fully
got the
making it an Italian battleship now.
Yeah. Abruzzi got submarine surveillance, which I think is pretty good.
Long overdue.
Yes. It's very basic sub surveillance, but like
it's in that matchmaking bracket where like you still have like the double sub games everywhere because it's tier 6,
Yes. So it's definitely done. Brindisi is getting a concealment buff, 15.1 to 14.5, which is massive. I really genuinely believe that is massive.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I still think that Brindisi it's a very fun ship. It's a very good ship. I think that this just makes it a better ship.
It's where the Italian cruisers started getting good back in the day.
Yeah. Because the 8 and the Zara, it's just like it's not great. It's not good. The Brindisi's good, the Venezia's good, and the Piemonte is the Piemonte. We have the Adriatico, which is the Tier 9 destroyer. Reduce on the main battery from 5 to 4.6. That's not really going to be a tangible DPM buff, but it is still a buff. Yeah. And the range has been reduced from 8.5 to 8.2. And I think that is really good because a lot of these Italian ships are fucking spotted from the moon. I understand why. They're large destroyer leaders. They're big destroyers. They have the displacement of light cruisers, so I understand it. But it still makes them very difficult for people to play because a lot of people see the triangle and just go like, oh, it's a Gearing. Oh, it's a Mahan. Because it's not it's not explicitly stated that it's a torpedo destroyer. So they just play it like an American gunboat.
Yeah.
And I think that's really rough. Unfortunately, I think that's the state the line's in. I honestly cannot think of the last time I saw a Regolo or an Adriatico or
the reload's too long, the detection is way too high. Hopefully this is the beginning of maybe a, buff to the rest of the line too. That would be very nice.
Because 5.5 second reloads on 9 kilometer guns is like a kick in the nuts, and then herpes. It's a 1-2 punch of just horrible. They're rabid dogs when it comes to ambushing other destroyers. Yes, in isolated engagements, they're good because they're pushing 30,000 hit points. The problem with WoWs is you are not going to routinely. I don't even think you can count on getting those individual engagements because the second everybody sees a triangle, they stop what they're doing, shoot the triangle.
Well, so not my team when I'm the triangle, but
Yeah, yeah, but It's very difficult to push out, and it's really, I really feel like these ships are reliant on your team supporting you and the other team not supporting their destroyers.
Yeah.
And that is just not something that you can
And in it, Chief.
rely on. It's not, doesn't make any sense. Now, Valparaiso. Specialized repair team consumable parameters changed. HP per second reduced from 1880 to 1503. So let's do
3,000
some
less
quick
HP.
math. How much?
15,000 HP from beforehand to around 12,000 HP afterwards.
So you're losing $3,000 worth of HP.
Mm.
And this is another one. You're losing a lot of recoverable Citadel damage. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, Mike, you fat moron, it's a battleship. Why does that matter? It matters because the Valparaiso is based on, where's my Vanguard? What happened to my Vanguard? There's
Royal
my
Navy
Vanguard.
circa 1955.
Yeah. Why are you blue? The Vanguard and the Valparaiso, for which it is based on, have above water citadels. So you can and will just get blown in half. And it's not a unsubstantial amount of citadel above the waterline.
Really funny is they actually lowered it in testing, and it's still way above the waterline.
So that is a very, very big hit. I think they're trying to reel in the Valparaiso problem, which I think is good.
Dude, I have so many angry people in my comment section talking about how this is not right because they paid money for the ship, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't walk toward the entire enemy team and not care anymore, buddy.
Yeah, they have always changed these ships. It doesn't matter. They've always been subject to buffs, changes, nerfs.
They wouldn't
with every premium ship. They always do that.
Premiums back in the day, but recently, the last 7 years, they've been very hands-on about it.
Yeah. Wow. Anyways, Santander got a reload buff, 7 to 6.2, so that's almost a second off. That's great. Admirante Cudonde. Quendo. Main battery reload time reduced 13 to 12, and it is alternative fire mode time reduced from 18.5 to 18. So it exists. It's not really.
This is the alternative fire mode where the shells are slightly more accurate.
Yeah. That I honestly feel like is a little bit less of a change, but it's still a change.
Yeah, I mean it's a buff. It's just like, wow,
what is the buff going to do in the grand scheme of things is kind of my.
Why would I play this instead of the ship that I can get the 2-round burst on? Like,
exactly. Montcalm, the number of repair parties reduced from 3 to 2. The initial number was an error. Okay.
Womp womp.
Yeah, it's the Le Garçonnier. Colbert. This was not needed in any way, shape, or form. But I'm very happy to see it.
That's what I'm like. Who?
So not needed.
What?
Because anything out past 11, the Colbert shells are floaty as fuck.
Yeah.
So, and the average player, again, I'm not trying to be mean. You're not hitting anything outside of it. It's just simply not happening.
And you're not getting a Colbert outside of 11 kilometers either, if it's being driven right.
Yeah. So there's that. All I'm doing, all this is telling me right now is I'm going to my Colbert as we speak, and I am swapping out. Oh, I already have reload on there. Oh yeah, because why would you run range on fucking Colbert? Anyways, here we go. That's great. Slava, because it needed it. AP shell maximum damage increased from 12,100 to 13,450. So little over $1.5 grand, little under $1.5 grand up in terms of damage.
9K per salvo,
Okay.
baby.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh,
The
these
Nebraska.
guys, these are good.
Yeah, Nebraska. Thank God. It looks like they're just up armoring the
the hangar decks for these ships.
yeah,
And Louisiana is
hangar.
getting some extra sauce on top of that.
So hangar plating increased from 19 to 32. We already just went on a massive diatribe earlier about why that's actually important. Parts of the superstructure below the flight deck have been included in hangar armoring. So more armor in more places, specifically 32. Upper hangar increased from 19 to 38. So Delaware is going up to 38. So that's even better. And then the same thing, they're also adding some other plates that are going up to 38. Louisiana, 19 to 38. So now this is something that you're going to have to use IFHE if you are not a battleship or like a Stalingrad, just 12-inch HE.
Right. 305. What's the ratio? 6. 305 divided by 6.
I'm not doing math. And you're not doing math. You're not a math teacher. I'm just
I
going
have
to
the
go.
calculator that my teacher said I never have on me.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Do you
50. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, you're
It's
good.
divided by 6, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's 50
Just
millimeters
look.
pin.
Yeah, 51. They rounded it up. Okay. So yeah, you still have to worry about like large cruisers and stuff, but a lot of the like
Pesky
Nevsky,
cruisers.
like Nevsky, anything 203, I think you're good against.
And now, like, if it's not 18-inch, it won't just go straight through. I mean, you still have a lot of flat angles there, but
Yeah.
if you angle now against most battleships, you're not gonna get those massive pins.
Parts number of aircraft on deck increased from 6 to 12. As a result, the ship is now able to store up to 2 bomber squadrons simultaneously. That is insane.
Yeah.
Just casually, just a cool, crisp. I love it how up here it's like, yeah, we took 0.3 seconds off of the reload time of this specific consumable. And then they're like, yeah, nobody's playing the Louisiana. Fucking double the strikes. It's like, okay, all right, couldn't, increase the recharge time. There's nothing else we could have done. You're just going to blatantly double the strikes.
Yeah, so that's crazy. I didn't even process that because it's a hybrid, so you wait the 2 or 3 minutes, and you get two squadrons now on the same 2 and 3 minutes. 2 or 3 minutes. That's crazy.
That is so every minute or so, basically. So you you fly your planes off for a minute, you do your strike, you come back, fly the other plane, you wait, you do your strike, you come back, other plane back. Like,
it got Hildebranded. Dang.
It did. Congress, the ship maintains 2 charges. Maintains 2 charges in an exemption.
That's where all the cruisers got 2 charges of heals.
Yeah.
If it already had 2 charges, it was supposed to get 3, but Congress only gets 2.
Maximum reload buff down to 20 seconds as opposed to 22, and 17.5 to 18. So this thing's just going to be an even worse brick shit house to deal with come tier 8 clan battle season when all 950 billion of the bands go through. San Diego, this is fantastic because I love playing the San Diego. 14.8 to 15.6. The Forrest Sherman has engine boost consumable added. This will share slot with defensive fire. Maximum speed +8, so it's an actually beefy. Okay, so that's a little nuts. 3 charges, so 4 charges if you're smart, and you can cut your duration down to a decent amount. That's pretty good. Cheshire, but Japanese, reduced from 12.5 to 11.5, so that's a second off the reload. It's nothing insane because I think Cheshire is still just kind of explode, but like,
as do most.
All three
British
of the Cheshire players are going ape shit right now. Torpedo bomber on the ocean, man, take me by the hand, lead me. Number of aircraft reduced from 12 to 9, 4 to 3. So they're just downsizing the torpedo bombers, and they're increasing the activation or restoration time. Honestly, not a bad call. I've heard nothing but complaints about Ocean.
Yeah,
So
I don't. Was this a still ship? Is it a still ship?
I think so. Stand by.
Yeah, because like
Oh,
I've
there was an
heard
event that then
complaints too.
became a steel ship, and
Oh
after
yeah,
it became a steel ship,
yeah. I've only ever seen like two
not
oceans in game,
a
and they
steel
didn't do
ship,
anything. It's not a still ship.
not a not a steel ship. Is
Okay.
it a research bureau ship? Ocean, yeah, it's a research bureau
Oh,
ship.
okay. Well, that's why there's not a bunch of them out there.
Yeah. Speaking of research bureau ships, I got the Irresistible,
Simply irresistible.
and I love it.
The
It's really good.
British Iowa, Illinois.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I ran across one earlier
Um,
today.
so good. Um, yeah, I mean, oceans are pretty oppressive, so I definitely understand why this change has been made. I don't know their player numbers, so I don't know how frequently you're going to run into them.
Yeah,
But
I've seen two since it's been
yeah,
released.
so that's certainly a decision. Prince Eugen AP parameters changed. Damage went up from 5.9 to 6.1. Guaranteed ricochet angle increased 60 to 65 minimum. Auto ricochet check angle reduced from 45 to 55. It's still an 8-gun cruiser at tier 8. Who gives a fuck? With bad turret angles. This is like, hey guys, we made the
Well, because they made it obsolete with the heals, because now the Hipper gets the heal, so you can have the
yeah.
10-second reload time versus the 13-second reload time. So they had to do something to it.
Hey guys, we put a turbo in the Dacia Sandero. Yeah, who gives a fuck? That's basically what this is.
James
Who
May.
gives a fuck?
Prince Orient players,
Yeah, yeah. All the
the ship
Nazi
that went out
LARP.
with the Bismarck.
It went out with the Bismarck. I like it in Azure Lane. I have 900 of them, and
He has
I don't have a
spectated.
problem.
Does she?
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. No, mom, I'm 35. I don't need a job. And then the Loudon, Initen, and the Gustav Den store are getting torpedo damage nerfs,
Bit of
which
protection nerf.
yes, or yeah, torpedo protection nerfs. 20 to 18 is kind of devious work at tier 9, especially with all of the just absolute hand cannons of torpedoes you have kicking around at that tier.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This thing's also like I could probably parallel park this in downtown Boston. These things are so fucking small.
Yeah. They're
So
small and maneuverable. They get the super engine boost too.
exactly. So I think these are
If you eat more than like one torp in this, that's your fault.
you're kind
100%.
of looking for it. The Initen, let's see. I remember this one being a little bit more pig iron-esque. Yeah, this one's a little bit longer. It's a little bit slower.
The 9 and the 10 are really short and small for their tier. I think the other ones are kind of on the smaller
It's
side ish,
definitely
but
short. Yeah,
they're
it's
not
not
short
anything
short.
incredible. And then the 6, let's go back and look at the 6. Oh, this is actually just a
DEF, I think, huh?
Viribus Unitas.
Oh,
So who
Verbis
cares?
Unitas, okay. I think the
Yeah,
7's a P, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with all this.
Didn't touch
Okay,
the
yeah,
4 with its 900 meter a second cannons.
yeah. It's cool. I don't think that this is going to be like earth shattering, but I also don't think that like these changes are earth shattering and or but you know
That's right.
that
I need to
is
do a freaking Prince Eugen visit. Fly out to Bikini Atoll, get some nice radiation.
yeah, and then die. That's actually my favorite pod at a Bikini Atoll trip is 900,000 chest X-rays in a second.
I thought it wasn't that high because like you can like go scuba dive the Prince William wreck.
Oh yeah, no, it's not that bad. I'm just being funny.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like you don't have the oxygen tanks; you can just snorkel.
It's mainly contaminated areas that you have to look out for. It's the same kind of thing with Chernobyl. Like you can go to Chernobyl and you don't have to wear anything, but like there's certain areas of Chernobyl that if you go to them,
Skin will melt
like
off.
I'm talking about like specific individual items. Like there's a thing called the Devil Claw that they use to remove radiated concrete and the graphite from the core, and it's still like 5 minutes will shorten your life by 15 to 20 years. But you have to be like sitting in the claw for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Dude,
So,
there was like
there's
that
still a lot of radiation, but
like before the Russian-Ukraine war, there was that uptick in like YouTubers and Instagram models just going to Chernobyl and just making content on it. And I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know I don't know if you know what you're doing.
I want to. I'd love to go to Chernobyl. I think that the gravity of the situation, I think the natural beauty of the area, reclaiming the like area, I think is phenomenal. And if Russia wasn't, I'm sorry, let's boil this back here because this is the end and we can get political and we can just cut it. The most recent Slavs killing Slavs is just like, once that's done, I'd love to go to Chernobyl. I really would.
I'd love to go to Russia once that's done. Like that's
that's never gonna happen.
I know.
I've
like,
already made peace with that. No, I know. Me too, because I want to make the pilgrimage to Kublinka, which is like the Red Army just has all of their tanks there, like everything that they've ever used, ever built, like test objects, everything. And then 2014 happened, and like the chieftains stopped going there, and everybody kind of stopped going there, and I don't think I'd be able to go there. Unfortunately, I'd love to. I'd love to be able to like. There's nothing better than being enthralled by history and being able to like actually quantifiably look at it.
Is that
like
when
you're up here,
that massive tank museum? Is that in Treblinka?
Yeah, Kublinka is the old Soviet testing ground for tanks, and they just have like everything that they've ever made, everything that they've ever like prototyped is there. So they have like 3 different variants and iterations of like the IS-4. I think they have like the IS-6 and stuff like that. So it's really like anything you want to see, that's where you go to see it. And it's really powerful to be able to like if there's time, we can go to the tank museum up here, and you play War Thunder, you see how small the M22 Locust is, and you're like, okay, they're dropping this thing out of planes. Okay, it's tiny, and then they have one up at the museum, and that's another thing where I get to go wherever. But yeah, like you're just sitting there and you're like it doesn't even pass my chest. It's insane. And being able to like quantifiably look things in the eyes and be like,
yeah, that's one of the things about going to the ships and stuff. Like when I went to the Kid, like the game warps your perception of like how big these ships are, because in game destroyers are teeny tiny, and you walk to the Kid and you're like, holy crap, this thing's massive.
Yeah, I mean, you go to yeah, I mean, like the Salem. Everybody thinks the Salem and the Des Moines are like stocky tier 10 cruisers. Like they're small, they're fat. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, this thing's huge.
Yeah.
And it's like huge. Like,
yeah.
Like Sodak huge. What? So it's kind of cool having that mental bridge to be able to connect to everything. So like, when I'm when I'm sitting there and I'm looking at like the Massachusetts and I get to the 6-inch deck, the internal plating, I'm like, that's not that much. You could have put more there. And then when we go there and we go through the 6-inch hatch to get down into the engine room, fuck, you know. So it's awesome. Go support museum ships. Go visit museum ships. Go donate to museum ships.
There was a part when I was crawling on the North Carolina, and the engine room, I'm like, they had to have like Oompa Loompas working in here because pretty ship and stuff. It's so crammed. I'm just like trying to get behind some piece of machinery and stuff, and the wall or bulkhead, I should say.
You could do the Nautilus while you're up here too. That's a good museum.
That's true. But that's kind of like you can just like walk through it, right? Like it's just like a path.
Yeah, so it's a path. Everything's roped off, but they have the museum is fantastic, and I need to go back there because I need to get a coffee mug that I broke that I got there, and I want to replace my coffee mug. I got a what's the porcelain-esque material they'll cover like metal mugs with?
Oh God, what is it? I know what it is, but
pewter? No.
Yeah, I was thinking pewter too, but that's like another metal, I think. Might just be porcelain.
No. Stand by. I bought a coffee mug from it, and like this is great. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna break this, but like enamel.
Oh yeah. The enamel coating, yeah.
Yeah. It's really good. But it's not anything compared to ceramic. So but yeah, there's that. They have the Nautilus right there. They have the sails of a few other interesting submarines. They have cut hull segments showing the progression of Navy submarines. So they have like the Hunley, and then they have the Ohio, and you're like, oh, there's levels to this shit. They have ICBMs in there. It's pretty.
I'll take one home.
No, they don't like that. I asked. It's like I have a neighbor who's really annoying. I don't even need the warhead. I think if I dump rocket fuel on their house, they'll. And the guy's like, because it was like some 70-year-old dude who volunteers, and I was very obviously joking. But the problem is a lot of people in like our generation can't tell when I'm joking because I'm just so good at like delivering my sarcasm. But this like 70-year-old ex-submarine guy got through it, and he's like, you know, if this was the Cold War, I'd have to shoot you. And I was like,
now you can buy a ICBM silo for like, well, I think in the 2010s they were running for like $100,000 by decommissioned ICBM silo.
Oh, that's another thing. We could go visit the Nike Hercules in my hometown.
What is that?
Nike Hercules is the U.S.'s first generation of like permanently installed anti-air and anti-ballistic missiles.
Okay. See, my aunt lived in Wyoming, and we passed by the what is it? It's the museum with all the ICBMs.
I don't know off the top of my head, but stand by.
And because they have outside in front of the museum, they have
like museum in Greene Valley, Arizona, the only remaining Titan II site accessible.
It's just like Rocket Command or something.
Oh wait, Warren ICBM and Heritage Museum in. You said Wyoming, right?
Correct.
Yeah, this is up in Warren Air Force Base, Wyoming.
Yeah.
My husband died in the parking lot. 2 stars.
Okay.
What did he die of?
Was it the museum's fault?
I love Google reviews, dude. Did he die of like fumes from rocket fuel, or did he just like one Big Mac too close to the sun? What happened?
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks about living in like the Northwest. It's like, yes, you get all this land for really cheap. It's beautiful, but like if a nuclear war ever starts, you're just done. Like so
Yeah.
that whole area is just getting irradiated. But,
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's here, let's see. Uh, uh yeah, there's one in California that's a totally preserved Nike base. But yeah, these were like insanely large and insanely costly endeavors. The other thing that's incredible about this is the fact that these were ground guided. They didn't have their own guidance system in them. So this was the 50s. The U.S. basically designed
oh, those
a
things,
telephone
yeah.
that they could guide onto an incoming bomber or ICBM. Okay, that's not helpful. Thank you. Like it's insane. Uh,
Have you seen the
and let's see, where is it? Beverly, Reading, Massachusetts, Danvers, Massachusetts. I've been kicked out of bars in all of these.
hmm,
Beverly, Massachusetts, Nahant, Fort Duval in Hull. That's another cool thing that we can go to. It's an old now obliterated private ownership housing. There's a big hill in Hull, and they like during the Revolutionary War they set up cannons there to defend Boston Harbor, and the army just kind of stayed there for a really long time.
1974.
Then I guess they put a Nike missile up there. Webb State Park in Weymouth, and then Cohasset Hingham, Weymouth. That's probably no, that's Turkey Hill. That's not even the one I'm talking about. There's one in Randolph. There's one in Netting. There's one in South Lincoln. There's one in Burlington. There's one in Bedford. Okay, so maybe this is the one I'm thinking.
The newer anti-ballistic missiles, like the multi-kill vehicle that they have for those.
What's up?
Have you seen what a multi-kill vehicle is?
Yes, I have a lot of time on third shift to learn. I got bored last week and I learned about orbital mechanics. And because I got really interested in like the Golden Dome and everything, because I think missile interception is really weird. I think that it's really cool that the US went from like in the span of 100 years, we went from, hey, we can fly now and control ourselves, to I'm going to guide this hypersonic stick in this hypersonic stick, and 60% chance I do it. Like I pull, like the closing velocities and everything are insane. So it's really interesting.
You want to pull up a video and show the audience what we're talking about? What Lockheed made in the 90s, 30 years ago?
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing that I really love, because like my dad listens to a lot of like the boomer conservative stuff. And just to put it out there, my father's a wonderful person. He really kind of instilled the you need to think, you can trust, you can listen, but you need to think for yourself as well. But yeah, he's sitting there and we were listening to one of those like boomer like if they had this capability now, the armies had to have had this for 10 years. And I'm like, yeah, no, they had hovering rocket vehicles
in the 90s.
The US has been playing with artificial intelligence, especially in like a military setting, probably for 30 years.
Yeah, we
like,
got
that's
to
making sense.
the 80s.
I'm like, Dad, the US military had the internet in the 60s. Like emails, communications, data transfer, picture transfer in the 60s.
Yeah.
They weren't sending 900 MySpace photos all over the place, and it was all for national defense. But we had this in the 50s and in the 60s.
We got to Reagan's presidency in my Western Civ class, and we went into like when he was building up the military stuff. We're building like the B2s and the B1s, and cranking out the Nimitz class carriers. And I'm like, guys, this is the same stuff we have today. All this was built 40 years ago. and like it's still the best in the world. That's like how crazy advanced the U.S. military is. Like we have a plane the size of a building that shows up as a bumblebee on radar.
Yeah.
Like that's from the 80s, boys and girls.
That's just what we're getting to. That's why like you have people right now that are like, the Navy's never going to build the X-47. I'm like, it's probably already been built for like 5 to 10 years because we had this shit.
Oh my god, this is insane. Like this doing this in
It's
atmosphere.
one thing. Yeah, it's one thing to do this and hover in atmosphere, but it's another thing to have it like 12 inches long. So it's a foot. So it's a suitcase that we have flying around and hovering and maneuvering in atmosphere. But no, AI is new, guys. AI, it just came out. It actually just came out when ChatGPT came out and was like, hey, guys, do you ever want to not write work emails? Because that's what we can do with ChatGPT.
So
yeah, and the Navy's like, fuck, this is so cool. We could... What? Yeah, no, that's definitely all new, guys.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the thing that's supposed to slam into an ICBM in space, right?
Yeah, this is one of their iterations of them. This, look at that. So yeah, but yeah, that's the other thing that I really love about like ICBM interception technology is a lot of people, it's like a big AIM-120, which is an anti-air missile that's launched from a plane to another plane, and it has a radar for tracking, and it has like a continuous rod warhead, which basically means that it comes out with all these metal beams. It's just designed to like shred targets. And then we kind of discovered this early on because of just the pure numbers and everything involved. Basically, the bean counters at like DARPA were like, this thing's gonna be like 3 miles away by the time the explodes. Like that's the type of speeds that we're dealing with here. And they just kind of went, we're gonna do. And then DARPA just came out and was like, yeah, so we're just gonna fucking smash something into it and it's gonna fall apart. And they're like, what? Like, yeah, no, if we just hit this thing in the heat shield, the atmosphere will deal with it. And with all the safety features on a particular weapon, it's not going to detonate. And it's like, oh, so we're just going to hit it.
$40 billion hammer.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah, that's basically what it is. It's a missile body flying around, being the douchey dickhead teen hitting mailboxes with a baseball bat. That's basically what this is.
You want to nuke New York?
And
no.
The other thing is just with the speed and everything involved. Right now, we're at they call it the reactionary phase, where we're launching a missile to intercept their missile on its hopefully before it enters its terminal velocity or terminal phase. In a few years, and with the stuff that Donald Trump was talking about, and again, it's probably already up there, to be entirely honest with you. And a system like it has probably been up there for a very long time. It just makes sense. But there's a lot of people that are talking about the U.S. moving towards, they call it seeded defense, where it's just satellites and satellites and satellites with like 10 or 12 of those little kill drones on there that intercept the missile the second it gets up to the top of its ballistic arc. Basically, when it's at its slowest and it's doing its orbiting or it's like half orbit or whatever, they just have pods and satellites up there that's like, yep, hey, there it is. Because again, the other thing in space, there's no friction until you get into the atmosphere. There's no drag. So it doesn't have to be a $50 trillion God-killing missile. It can literally just be a little drone like that gets thrown at a warhead.
Cool.
And that's it. So like the terminal interception and everything, it's all incredibly, or interception is incredibly interesting. Also, the U.S. Navy can do this with the SM-6 missile, which I think is the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, I was reading that like they had a test because I was reading about Aegis, and it was like they tested it intercepting uh, a ballistic
in the
missile.
80s, and
Yeah,
the Navy
yeah.
was like we have this new radar. It can see the moon, and the Air Force is like, let's give it a shot. Let's see how good it is. And then they like detected a satellite. They shot a SM-5 or SM-4, I think it was, at a satellite, shot down. And the Navy's like, we stay winning.
The
And
Navy's also
the
putting
other thing
lasers
really
on ships now. Like we're at that point in history where like we have lasers on our ships now.
been doing that.
Do what?
But the other thing, that's just to deviate right back to the Standard missile, the SM. That's that's the WD-40 of missiles. It's one missile to solve hundreds of problems. Do you want to know what an SM-6 is?
So it's like a really angry telephone pole, isn't it?
It's an SM-2 with a booster stage. That's what an SM-6 is. You want to know what an SM-4 is?
SM-1 with a booster
It's an
stage. With another booster
SM-2
stage.
with a slightly smaller booster stage. Like, and these are their land attack, their air defense.
They're the missiles from Ace Combat.
Yeah, it's just, I'm going to launch this, and it's going, whatever it has to do, it's going to do. And that's the thing that I always bring up, because you have people who are like, oh my God, the Chinese are building an HQ-6, and it's basically, it's a B-20, it's a B-2 Spirit, and I'm like, yeah, we have a missile that no matter what problem comes, the Navy has a missile that whatever problem comes over the horizon, they press boop and it deals with it. It's not we have to turn on this radar to use the anti-ship missile, or hey, we have to turn on the air search radar, and then we have to turn on the height and range to find out where something is. The Aegis system and the spy radar array sends out a massive pulse. There it is. That's the speed it's going at. I found it. It's 300 miles away. And then it will select which standard missile it needs to do the job, and then it will launch it. There's no... That's the thing that's incredible about the United States military and the technology that we have in current iteration. And we have all these socialists online who are, China's going to be, they have Dongfang 21 and they have this incredible missile and it's great. I'm like, it's built for one thing, and it took them 7 years of smashing these missiles into the desert to get it to reliably hit a carrier-sized object not moving at hypersonic speeds.
That's my favorite thing. Like, you can't intercept a hypersonic missile. It's like, yes, you can. You just lead it more. Like, that's it's math.
It goes from kinetic. It goes from shooting a telephone with an explosive warhead to shooting basically a giant crossbow bolt at whatever it is that's coming in at you. And again, that's why you have all these people, and it's Russia and it's Su-57s. Oh my God. Okay, panel gaps, one. Second off,
Phillips head screwdrivers.
Yeah. They've been smashing themselves into their own defensive systems that they built. They lost. And then the US and the West started dumping missiles and weapons into the area. And they fought one of the largest militaries in the world, numbers-wise, to a standstill. And the only reason Russia has been able to fight wars the way that it has since the fall of the Soviet Union is they've had the Soviet stockpile of equipment to fall back on. And this war has chuffed through that.
Yeah, when you're having to ask Kim for artillery shells,
Yeah.
it's not a good look.
Yeah. Hey, can you give us some of the artillery shells that sold you 50 years ago and you guys have been making nonstop since then? Because we're out of all of our modern stuff. Like that's the precipice that we're at when it comes to military and industrial power. And a lot of people don't realize that. Okay. Have fun. Anything that comes at me, I'm just going to launch a standard missile. Okay.
One missile to rule them all.
Yeah. And then there's other people that are like, well, the US is very obvious. Patriot system is bad because if you see in Iran, like there's all these people that had Patriots and missiles got through. It's like, yeah, because the last president sent the vast majority of our interceptor stockpile to Ukraine, and we have been slowly but surely ramping up production to fill those gaps. And now that we have that tangible result of, hey, the next large scale conflicts are going to involve large amounts of interceptors, all those numbers are just going to go through the roof. So that
I think Lockheed already announced that like by next year they're going to ramp up missile production by like 4 times. Oh, doubling?
Yeah, they're doubling it. Okay. They're doubling it within 6 months, and then within 2 years they're quadrupling.
Okay, that's what I read. I'm a Lockheed Martin and it's shareholder, so
I know, me too. Oh, it's great. Because my dad comes over, he's like, yeah, I bought some Johnson, getting into the pharmaceutical game. I'm like, yeah, I bought $300 worth of Bath Iron Works. And with all of the naval shipbuilding that they've been talking about, I now have $700 worth of Bath Iron Works. And it's the same thing with like Lockheed Martin and everything. And he's like, it's kind of like profiteering.
My taxes work for me, buddy.
I'm like, the point of investment is profits. I'm chasing profits. Why did you invest in Johnson & Johnson? Do you like baby oil? Are you Diddy? No. You want money. I'm getting more money.
Dude, I bought Raytheon like 2 years ago when they were like low, and like, oh my god, it's so nice.
Invest in naval shipbuilding or shipbuilding in general. That is going to go through the roof. So that's Michael's not a financial director tip of the day. Shipbuilding is going to go through the roof. Aerospace is continue to go through the and yeah, invest in technological systems. And you are going to I've matched my 401k in terms of my return on the stock market so far.
Yeah, I just gotta wait to get over the whole like, buying a house and buying everything that a house needs. Oh, that's my wife again. It's insane.
All right. Have a great day. We definitively be recording next week. Yes. We're trying to get back onto a consistent schedule. We had spring break. I worked for 60 days straight. And like I said, it was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hour days. So I was not a human. But we are going to work on consistency. So just so you guys know, end of quarter and end of month, that first weekend, I work the weekend. End of quarter, I work 2 weekends. So around that time, it is going to get rough. But in the middle of the month, it should be a lot better. And we are going to strive to increase output. Sealord started tagging us over on his main page, so we've seen a massive jump on YouTube. Our Spotify numbers have consistently gone up. We just need to maintain consistency, and I think that we're going to end up in a very good place.
We are humans after all.
Mrs. Portanova, I love you very much. Tell Mr. Portanova I said hi. Big Mike. And I got to get over this summer and see you guys. Definitely not just. I'm not saying that. I'm not a mooch. I want to see you guys, but if the pool's there, that's an added bonus. And on that bombshell.
It's time to end.